Meet George Jetson, his boy Elroy, daughter Judy, Jane, his cause, Mere Chronicles. The podcast where we follow two first-time readers, Sheta and Justin, and we chronicle their journey through Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere series. On today's episode, we'll be chronicling the Stormlight Archive, The Way of Kings, chapters 32 through 35. So now, it's time to throw it over to the host of Cosmic Chronicles. This is Joe! Thank you, Joe. Yep, everyone, as you heard, as normal, it's Cosmic Chronicles. We're all here. Yay. I'm Joe, and I'm here with Sheta and Justin. Hey.
Hey, I'm Sheta. Happy to see you guys.
I'm Justin, and I hate everybody. I'm not happy.
Justin, why are you always so pessimistic? Don't you know we got exciting shipping to do?
It's because I know the truth, and I don't trust anybody.
Well, you've ruined my day, and now I'm miserable. Thanks.
You're welcome. I opened your eyes.
So, Sheta, to ruin your day more, you just said, I'm happy to see everyone, but we're doing an audio podcast. You can't see anybody.
Yeah, that sounds like Joe.
All right. Yep, we're here for this. And I think a way to start off this week, just talk a little bit about the news that came this past week with Brandon Sanderson and the deal he made with Apple TV.
Not the news I thought you were about to drop on us, so I'm glad we're talking about that instead.
Okay, I don't know what you expected, but with our big political stances that we do on this show, this show, we're switching. We are now going to be a mainly politics podcast with the last 4 minutes being Brandon Sanderson. But it's for us. New news came out this past week. For anybody in the future who's binging this a couple years down the line, this is old news. For all you know, some of the stuff might already be out, and you'll be like, oh man, these people, they're in for something great in the future. Or they'll be thinking, oh man, these people, they don't know what trash they're going to see. Or, yeah, sadly, everything just falls through and nothing comes of it. But for us, it's all new. We don't know what's coming. And, so Brandon Sanderson signed a deal with Apple TV to make some Cosmere projects, with the current plans being doing a Mistborn movie. It didn't say movie series or just one movie, I'm assuming multiple movies, and also a Stormlight TV show. So, what are your guys' thoughts on that? We'll start with you.
Well, I'm Justin, so it's a gloom and doom response. It's gonna be terrible.
In this case,
let's put
based on... we'll
put
switch
you back in your normal bodies.
Based on this... Yeah. Based on heard about the level of control it sounds like he's gonna have, and the fact that it's Apple TV, which doesn't tend to be churning out as much like crappy adaptations as like Amazon or Netflix is. If you said Netflix or Amazon were, I'd have no fucking hope for this show whatsoever, because... Or what's the other one? Peacock? Which one did Halo? Whichever one did that would be the other one. I think that, it was Paramount, I think. Those are all garbage. You saying Apple TV, which when I look through the stuff they've adapted, it's not perfect, but it seems to be a little more in tune with what the fuck somebody who's even likes the thing would even half want, Like, that Godzilla show at least had fucking monsters in it. That's the only one I've watched. But yeah, other ones like that gives me some small amount of hope, specifically with the fact that it sounds like Brandon Sanderson's heavily involved and not just like producer who's just going to make a little money off of it and not give a shit. So that gives me hope. Okay, a Game of Thrones situation.
He already had, I think, his experiences with Wheel of Time, because he was a producer on that, and his experience of that made him make sure that he had control of the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because hearing him talk about some of the things, like, yeah, I suggested this, but they're like, no, we're going to do this. And I remember one quote I heard him saying was that, they were clearly trying to make the next Game of Thrones instead of making the first Wheel of Time show.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Sounds like the people in charge of movies.
Yeah, which would just suck because they're so different. Yeah.
In the concept of other things that have been successful. But in the context of it. Yeah, they have no concept of new things. So.
Yeah. Like which is so funny because their entire job is to give us new things, not to try to redo the thing we already watched. The other one is, it sounds like Brandon Sanderson searched around a lot before he subbed, right? And
he did say he shopped around.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but Vince Gilligan, after he's so famous from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, he did his new show Pluribus, which I have not watched, but on Apple TV. And I know he also shopped around a lot, so maybe I would hope they're just kind of like having their creators come in and being like, yeah, do what you want since you were successful. That would be my hope, but I don't know if that's what we're going to get or not.
Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't do that when you hire someone with a resume and you don't let them do what they do. Like,
yeah, and after paying them God so much money just to put their name on it. Yep, in development, Stormlight Archive right here. Very interesting.
Yep, and I know that he's writing, because right now he's in the middle of writing the next trilogy of Cosmere books. He's finished the first one, and he said that in the next 5 months he's going to set that to the side because he's going to be writing the Mistborn script. But he also said that he does not expect this stuff to really hurt the planned publication of like that trilogy and stuff like that. So that stuff, it's not going to be his plan is not to be like George R. Martin, where TV deal's done. All right, perfect. Gonna focus too much on that, and no books come out.
Yeah, Brandon's like, I'm gonna crank this out in a weekend. It'll be fine, guys.
Do you have pro or anti thoughts, Sheta?
I am very wary of adaptations. I just think some things are already the best in the form they were in originally, and there's not too much to be gained from a new adaptation.
Yeah.
So all it will do, in my opinion, is water down the brand and the story. So.
But what if they? But I know you. If they do it really fucking badass, you're gonna be buying so much goddamn merch from like Mistborn stuff. You'll be buying all the spheres from Stormlight. You'll be buying everything.
Props.
These shows might make you poor.
Well, that's the other thing too. Like a new adaptation will just also mean new fans and different fans.
No, thank you. I don't need different fans. I hate those assholes.
I always worry about stuff like that.
Ugh. Every time they do that shit, and then some asshole comes in, only watched the show, never bothered to read the books, but claims they're a huge fan. And you're like, if you love it so goddamn much, how can you not want to go read the original? That doesn't make any sense to me.
They don't like reading. They like movies.
Yeah, but if they love it so much, it's just it's those Harry Potter people who've never read the books, but their entire identity is around Harry Potter. Marvel fans who've never picked up a comic in their life, but they think that Iron Man's their favorite character ever made, I just don't understand it. It's so weird. Yeah, well, I don't like talking to somebody who's super excited about something, and I'm like, oh, cool, I can talk about it with them. And then I find out that they actually have a weird amount of contempt for the people who like the original because they complain that it's different. Yeah.
Oh, I know somebody with A Song of Ice and Fire. I remember talking about it in the middle of when the show's coming out. And it's just like, yeah, you should check out the books. No, I refuse to ever read the book. The show because I don't want the books to ruin what I like about the show.
That does happen a lot of the time. That's why, you should read the source, but I always say watch the adaptation first because the adaptation will usually suck if you read the book first.
And with these, like, I'm kind of looking forward to it. Like, I feel like Mistborn, that as like a movie and stuff, I feel like that's fairly, I'm not a director, but I will say the word simple to make because, it's, a little bit darker aesthetic at times. Some of the stuff you have to do some things to try to get it across, like probably like some sort of filter when someone's soothing somebody's riding somebody, that sort of stuff to get across that's happening.
Yeah, that'll be good.
But like mist always falling from the sky, the red sun, all that's going to look pretty cool. The thing that I think might be the hardest part to get across is going to be Well of Ascension and the prophecies getting changed, because you're not really going to have the epigraphs like throughout the story, probably. So you'll need a different way to be able to show this is what it actually was.
No way.
This is
I bet
what got
they'll open
changed.
each episode. I bet they'll open each episode with an epigraph. A specific one. I could totally see them doing
supposed to be a movie.
That. Oh, yeah. Okay, then that's true. Yeah, fuck that.
They're just gonna have the characters be like, "What? I could have sworn this said this earlier." It's just gonna be a dumber version.
Or they'll do some shitty thing where it zooms in on the page and then shows it change to the audience ahead of time.
Oh my god! Yeah, see, we're being way too optimistic. This is why I'm against this. Like,
here's all I hope. I hope
this.
Orseer's a fucking puppet and not some shitty CGI wolf thing. I hate that shit. I want a talking puppet like this is some older movie. I love that shit.
They will not do that.
They won't, but I hope they do.
I guess I'm the doom and gloom person, not Justin.
I will always be relatively optimistic until it comes out. That's always my opinion on adaptations. I'll expect the best, hope, or expect the worst, hope for the best, and then still be disappointed somehow.
Yeah, I take disappointment very badly, and I like my things a lot the way they are. So I'm not going to be happy no matter what, because it won't be what I like. So.
And I think Stormlight was probably going to be the harder one to adapt because you're not going to be able to do too much on location shooting because the fact the planet, it's all stone with the weird plants and stuff that are different. So it's going to have to mostly try to be like...
Dude, nowadays, man, if you look at how they film shows, like in Moon Knight, there's a scene set in a bathroom. It was filmed on a fucking green screen. They couldn't even build or go to a bathroom on location. I don't believe any show is filmed on location anymore. And, how many years is this out? They might just AI the whole thing anyways. I don't know Brandon Sanderson's opinion on that, but... I'm
figuring that actually, I think he had a recent, little keynote speech where he was talking about AI, but I haven't watched it. But, I figure they'll probably have to do green screen for the area or sound stages. The other thing is going to be Spren will also likely have to be AI. But I also think of the movie Avatar, where, you can get stuff that looks realistic that's completely made up in those movies. So they could probably do the similar thing with Spren everywhere.
Yeah, but is James Cameron directing Mistborn? If he is, then maybe I'll think it has a chance.
No, if James Cameron was directing it, he'd change the story completely. You don't want him doing it.
It'll just be Avatar 4.
All right. And so our random question, I will connect to this. Don't worry about, physical appearance or anything like that, or your acting ability. If you can get yourself cast into any Cosmere thing from something we've read so far. So Mistborn, Stormlight, Elantris, Warbreaker, White Sand, Emperor Soul, any of that. If you could cast yourself in one role, which role do you want to be in?
Vin. Vin would be my dream role. Yeah, because she gets to do such a range of things. I always wanted to be a badass in a Mila Djokovic type movie. I think that should be where they go for Vin. So I would want to be Vin, and also the parts where she's in a ball gown and having fun, that would be the best one. I will also take Ciri, but then you're gonna have to do nude scenes as Ciri.
Not necessarily. You could film all of that without showing explicit nudity pretty easily because she's bent over for most of it.
It's Brandon Sanderson. He's probably not gonna do nudity. If anything, it'll be from behind.
Yeah. You could film that without doing it easily.
But I would want that as a watcher.
This isn't Game of Thrones.
I just think that part of the scene's vulnerability is Ciri's vulnerability.
Well, that's so interesting because when I imagine the scene in my head, it was always PG-13 when I thought of it. But it sounds like yours was not, so that's really interesting.
Yeah, her fears... Okay, I'm going to just stop.
Well, no, that's just interesting to see how it was read differently.
Mm-hmm.
Because I could see that argument about the vulnerability, but I think you could do that psychologically. I will be very interested if they do that story and those kind of stories, what direction they'd take with that kind of more. Because his stories are super violent. They're actually a lot more sexual than you'd expect. And so I'm really
Yeah.
curious how that will be portrayed. That's super
Like,
interesting.
will he be kind of more squeamish is like about things like that for real, like
It's different when
or
you write it than when you see it,
yeah,
So yeah.
exactly. You're gonna have real people acting this stuff out, and yeah, I do wonder.
And
I hope it's
and
It will
for
violent.
be
the
rated
That
R.
makes me
audience,
so
Like,
happy.
and for the audience you're
Mhm.
trying to appeal to,
Yeah.
because you'll get a different crowd. I know for me, the story that I know it's not going to be at the top of people's list, but one I would love to see adapted is Elantris. I feel like a 10-episode season of Elantris would be perfect.
yeah, I like Elantris too. That would be fun.
All right, my pick for who I'd want to play is who I think I would do the best at. Though you'd need to age me up a few years, but I think I'd do a great Straff. That's who I'd want
Oh
to play
my
the
god,
most. That
I
would be
knew
so
it.
fucking fun. I would love to play the biggest loser and most horrible person in the fucking show. I thought about some of the more badass characters, but I think I would do the best job as Straff. And so that's who I would want to play.
I was expecting you to say Rathan.
I thought about Rathan, but I thought, no. His thing, I don't think I could do it well, and I don't think I'd enjoy doing it. I would love watching somebody do it. I also thought of Kelser, but I don't think so. I think I'd want Straff. Yep, that's my self-cast.
Oh boy.
Give me like 10, 20 years. Let me start get some wrinkles. I think he needs to be older, but I'll do it.
For me, I'm going to go with Denth.
Damn.
I just feel like
I can see
that'd
it.
be fun. I can do some, try to do some like the early comedy stuff, try to be all that, and then go evil, and then just be a horrible asshole.
I knew you weren't trustworthy.
So Sheta, you pick Vin and Siri, and we've got Denth and Straff.
Yeah, it shows how much of a main character syndrome I've got. I'm the main character, center of the world.
Well, no,
and
I think the cast. I don't think it was main character. I think of the characters, those are the ones you would do best at.
Huh.
What about Shallan?
I'm mixing up the names. Which one's Shallan? Oh, the new character.
No, I
No
would be too
offense, Shada. I don't
embarrassed.
know if you can be that spunky.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
I think you'd do a good mean Vin face, and I think you'd do a good what's the word I want? Like innocent, naive Siri face.
That's good. Yeah.
All right. Yep. So that'll be our talk about the Brent Sanderson Apple TV deal. Maybe we'll come up with more if in the future when more details come out. And in a few years, whenever like a show or movie comes out, if we're still doing the podcast, we'll do an episode about it.
Oh, yay. I can't wait.
All right. But let's get back to Brandon Sanderson. Well, we're still on Brandon Sanderson. Let's get back to the Way of Kings. So first, the recap. And this week, it's Sheta's turn to recap last week's episodes.
So last week we did the interludes, or
Yes.
okay, yep, interludes, where we followed Ryson and kind of learned a bit about the people in what is it, Shior, or is that
Shinovar.
Shinovar, and kind of how the trade business is. We learn about how they don't there's not grass everywhere or dirt everywhere. So there's a lot of different things about the lands that are different in the different countries. And then we learn about Axes the Collector, a weird shape-changing person who is studying Spren. So that's weird. Also first about Ryson and Axes. And then we go back to Zeth and his adventures of being an assassin slave. He changed hands. He has a new master now who has a list of people to murder, and it's all these prominent figures in the lands. And we don't know who his master is, his new master. Then we cut to the to part 3, and we follow Shallan for the first time in a long time. And she is still studying under Yesna and still kind of struggling with her plan to steal her magic thing. And then she draws a weird picture of the king that has two shadows in it when she's doing her subconscious drawing thing. And she just rips it up and it's weird. Then we go back to... Oh, and then it's a flashback chapter, right? Darkness
there was
Unseen.
a flashback. Darkness Unseen was present day, and then the chapter after that was flashback.
Okay, but it was a Kaladin, I believe, chapter for 30? Okay. What does he do there?
We have a Gaz POV in it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so so the guys at Kaladin's Bridge 4 crew is trying to learn how to side carry a bridge to kind of maybe protect themselves secretly. And then Gaz is kind of like pressured to kill Kaladin because he's getting too bold. And we do go in Gaz's head, and it was very slimy. And he kind of allows Kaladin to do it because he's like, maybe he'll die. So, oops. And then
I think we can hear the audiobook back there.
I know, I accidentally clicked it. I was just looking at the list of chapters. Okay, then we go to the flashback with Kaladin and his father, and he talks about his dad's talking about a lot of weird stuff, but he doesn't want Kaladin to come back to this town. Then all the townspeople show up in hoods to try to threaten Kaladin's dad to give him the orbs to give to that new lord. But Kaladin's dad is all badass, and he scares them away with righteousness. And I think that's it.
Yeah. Decent job. Covered all the points. So, So then this week we went and we've read chapters 32 through 35 of The Way of Kings. So, as normal, I'll ask you two, what were your thoughts on these chapters?
It was very fun. Yeah, the chapters are fun and exciting. I think a lot of things changed in these chapters.
I'd agree with that. This was a turning point in the book, which was really interesting to see. I'm really interested with the direction things are taken in the Kaladin stuff. It's something we've kind of half assumed was coming eventually. You know, we couldn't just run around and train with bridgemen forever, you know. It seems like stuff with the Shallan stuff. Yeah.
The hammer was going to fall. Or the whatever.
Yeah, eventually. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Things are looking up, and it was building up to something happening, like good or ill.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really exciting to see it finally happen.
Mm-hmm.
I did find
it
funny how
stuff, it seems like it's actually moving too, which it hasn't for a while, you know? I mean, we haven't seen her for a while, but like she referenced being the bath attendant last chapter, and now she is, so that moved, which is more than I expected.
She was the bath attendant?
Or the, what did they call it? When she wants to steal the thing. Yeah, that was in there. Mm-hmm. It was like 2 seconds. It was not a focus. Yes, you may not remember the soapy bubble bath, the Shallan, can you please reach that spot on my back we were all imagining? I assume that's coming later, but for now it has said that's happened.
All right. One thing I do find funny is yet last week with Justin's predictions, he pretty much predicted all of Kaladin's plot line in this whole section that we read.
Mm-hmm.
With just one difference. And like it sounded like Justin was thinking, all right, this is going to be Kaladin's plotline for a significant part of the book. He'll do a side carry, he'll get strung up and all that. And nope, that's just the next like 3 chapters.
Yeah, I thought it would take a lot longer. I also thought it would go a lot better, which was much more realistic to see this version. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. It did not turn into like the best bridge carry ever. It turned into a complete and utter disaster and chaos.
I was really mad at you for predicting that, Justin. If you didn't say it, wouldn't have happened.
Yep, that's how it works.
All right. So then let's get into going over these chapters this week. We're starting off with side carry. They lived high atop a place no man could reach, but all could visit. The tower city itself, crafted by the hands of no man. Though the Song of the Last Summer is a fanciful tale of events from the 3rd century after the Recreants, it is likely a valid reference in this case. See page 27 of Varala's translation and note the undertext.
These ones I am going to have to go through all of them and put them together and see what the wider story is, because With the last one, it just continued the sentence from each time. With this one, they're telling me to consider undertexts and check notes and see different versions of different things written, and it's harder for me to keep in my head as I read across chapters than it was with just the simple letter.
I just like to think of it as flavor for study notes. So
no way, it's got to be super important. We know that Jasna is reading through all this stuff. It's got to be. There's got to be revelation hidden in here.
All right, have fun.
So chapter begins where it's a Kaladin chapter, and he's watching his men practicing side carry, and then he sees that some new men are being brought in to join the bridge crews. So Kaladin jogs over to check out the new recruits, as he calls them, and Gaz begins splitting up the new men, and he sends them all to different bridges. But he sends none of them to Bridge 4. So Kaladin confronts Gaz about this, and after threatening him, Gaz allows Kaladin to have one man. Kaladin says, alright, but I get a pick, and Gaz and whatever do it. As Kaladin's looking over the men, one of them calls out to him, being like, hey, Goncho, pick me. It is a short, spindly, one-armed man. And he is a Herdazian, and he's also smiling. And we get a little description of Herdazian. His fingernails are kind of like a slate gray color and like crystalline. And once again, back up to the map. Herdaz, if you look at it, it's at the north, above Alethkar and Yakaved, having a border with both of them.
Herdaz. Who's Daz? Okay. The nails thing is really throwing me off. It's weird.
It's have really hard nails.
But I also start a line of nails from the Stormlight Archives and then name them like Herdazian and the blue ones. And I think that would be pretty nerdy and awesome.
Are you going to have eyebrow products too for Thalen's?
No. Clips for your eyebrows.
Oh, God.
Or like maybe glue-on extensions for your eyebrows. Oh man, you know what? I'm just gonna do that if we ever go to one of those conventions. I'm gonna do that just to.
It's not the same if it's a costume. It needs to be the actual thing.
It's gonna look real.
All
right. And then this man, he has slave marks on his head, which look like they're old. Kaladin thinks this guy would make a terrible bridgeman, and whichever bridge crew gets him, they would just put him in the front and have him take an arrow. And a voice from Kaladin's past says in his head, gotta do what you can to stay alive. Turn a liability to an advantage. And Kaladin then thinks of Tien. So Kaladin picks the one-armed man, and that just confuses Gaz. As they leave, Kaladin asks why the man wanted to be chosen, and he answers that Kaladin was the only one picking, so that would make him special. And he's also got a feeling about Kaladin. The man's name is Lopen, and some of his cousins call him the Lopen, because they have never known another Lopen. And not really going to do justice here, but Lopen also, similar to other characters, a lot of comedy with his speaking.
Yeah, but this time I actually quite liked it. Because I'm just like, from Kaladin's perspective, he has no idea what the fuck is about to happen to him. He is going to die, and he's acting like he's not. So I enjoyed that juxtaposition. I'm very curious to learn his backstory and how he got here and why he is the way he is.
I like Lopen.
Same. I thought I wouldn't, but I did very quickly.
And they arrive back at Bridge 4, and they see that the wounded have joined the others and are talking with them. Haber was now walking without a crutch, and he will be able to start running again soon. Leighton was up, and he's having a little trouble walking, and Kaladin thinks that he will most likely always have a limp. And David was still suffering from battle shock. He would still follow around the others and everything, but he still is not talking. Rock asked Kaladin if Gaz gave them Lopen as a punishment. Kaladin was about to agree with it, but he doesn't because he thinks that Syl would think that it was a lie and she would get annoyed by it. And then horns go off and they have to go out on a bridge run. Kaladin calls Lopen and tells him to bring as many water skins as he can carry. Bridge 4 picks up the bridge and they run with it, and they are the first ones to get to the first permanent bridge. They are much faster now than they used to be since they've been doing all this practicing. And then Lopen arrives, bringing along the water with both Dabbit and Haber. because he needed help. So he's like, hey, you two, come with me. And they are carrying a litter that they had made, and it's filled with like 20 water skins. Lopin just explains, well, he told me to bring as much water as I could carry. Which I just love that whole scene. Lopin just gets here. It's like, bring some water. And first thing he does, he's able to recruit others to help him. And then just make a litter.
That made me like him a lot.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a story about how everyone's like, oh, he's a short, one-armed, like, putty guy. He's useless. But his brain or his willingness to help is going to be the thing that winds up making him
he's special.
Yeah. Making him...
Invaluable.
I don't know why I lost the word. Thank you.
So the bridge run goes, and it goes on for a few hours. And Kaladin knows, because they've been running for so long, that this is going to be a bad one. They set their bridge down at the penultimate plateau, and Kaladin realizes that they are going to head to the tower, which is a plateau we've heard, referenced before with Dalinar talking about it, and this one, we see it. It's a much larger plateau than other ones. So Sadeas brought a bigger army, but it's also a plateau that they have never won a gem heart on. So Kaladin can see that the Parshendi are already there and they're already getting lined up. So he tells his men that they are going to do side carry. The men seem wary, but Kaladin asks, do you trust me? He tells them that they'll use the bridge to block the arrows and to follow his lead. He'll be in front, then if he winds up falling, then they can switch back to shoulder carry and they'll be rid of him. So the run begins and they're doing side carry and they run much faster than normal and they are in the lead of all the bridges. And as they get close, Kaladin has them turn right so that now they are exposed to Parshendi. And then at the last moment, he has them all turn left so that way all the arrows come and the bridge blocks all of them. And since they're turned to the side, they can't see anything and Kaladin can hear screams coming from the other bridges. And Kaladin turns again and blocks another barrage of arrows. And he figures, all right, we're only going to need to do this one more time. But as he turns the third time, he notices that the Parshendi are no longer focused on them. They figured, all right, let's just start focusing on the other bridges. So Bridge 4 gets there, they sent down their bridge, and they run over to a covered spot. And now Kaladin looks over the battlefield, and he sees that everything is in chaos. Most of the other bridges have fallen, because what happened is, the other bridges, they all saw Bridge 4 doing the side carry, and a bunch of them attempted to try to copy. But since they had never practiced it before, they were dropping the bridge, getting in the way, getting shot with arrows, all this issues. Only 6 bridges have managed to get all the way to the plateau and set up, but they're also all not right next to each other. They're kind of spread out and erratic. So the cavalry can't get its charge with power like it should. And yeah, nothing's working like it should because of this. But the members of Bridge 4, they're all ecstatic, and they're saying, oh man, this was a miracle. Kaladin, you've changed bridge runs forever. But Kaladin just responds, no, I haven't. I have completely undermined the assault. And Kaladin watches the battle tactics, which he had never done before, because in the past he had always been so focused on his men. Kaladin knows he has cost Sadeas this battle, and there will be repercussions.
I really enjoyed how quickly Kaladin put all that together when he just looks out and sees that clusterfuck.
Yeah. It was so funny because I paused to write down the note. I was like, man, Kaladin completely undermined this battle. And then he says it immediately.
And then Kaladin sees Gaz and Lamrul coming towards him along with some guards. And Kaladin tells Bridge 4, stand down, try to get back to the lumberyard safely. And Kaladin thinks in his mind, I could try to put the blame on Gaz, because Gaz did tell me to do the side carry. But that won't work, because there were no witnesses to that. Also, using that argument would leave Gaz and Lamrul no reason to keep Kaladin alive. So when they get up to him, they're just asking, do you know what the hell you did? And Kaladin admits that he upended the army strategy. He tells them he was just trying to survive. Lamrul responds in anger that bridgemen aren't supposed to survive. And Kaladin tells them, if you keep me alive, then I can tell your superiors that I did this on my own. But if you kill me, then it'll look like you were trying to hide something. It would look like it was Lamrul's idea to do this. So Lamrul tells the guards, all right, beat him up, but don't kill him. They begin beating Kaladin, and as they do, his sphere pouch rips, and all of his dun spheres spill out. And the guards keep on kicking him. And that's the end of the chapter.
I really liked Kaladin in there, immediately putting everything together, immediately coming up with a plan. This is a very high-stress situation, So I really enjoyed how quickly he put everything together and knew this is the only chance I have to not be killed right here thing to say. And I liked that it made sense.
Yeah, he quickly turned around and was like, well, I fucked up. Like, something he had been pushing so hard for like weeks and stuff to just suddenly like to flip so fast. It just shows how quick thinking he is. Yeah, and to come up with a plan to maybe survive a couple seconds longer, like that was smart too. I wouldn't have done that. I would have just freaked out.
So I want to ask you too, as the chapter was going on, he was doing side carry and blocking the arrows. Did you think it was going to end up with being, yep, everything turned out well and they came up with a new way for all bridges to run? Or did you think it was going to be a disaster?
Well, when he looked back and was like, he couldn't see the other bridge crews. I was like, oh, something's bad is happening.
Yeah, it was written well to be like that. To be like you kind of hear, if it was a movie, you can kind of hear that like ominous tone that they do when stuff's not going wrong, right? And then like the cheers in his bridgemen at the success of it, like we're doing it, mixed with his other bridgemen falling and stuff. Yeah, I felt that even before he said it and stuff, like I think it was written really well.
All right. Anything else from this chapter either of you two want to go over?
No, pretty straightforward. I was very eager to continue reading after this.
All right. Chapter 32 was called Side Carry. So why was that chosen as the name of the chapter?
Maybe it was chosen because that was all that was on Kaladin's mind. Like his main concern was pulling off the side carry, and he didn't think about anything else.
I can't think of a good pretentious metaphorical one, so I'll just say, yeah, he was doing the side carry.
Yeah, like I said, that one's kind of obvious, but I feel like, you know what? I want to ask it for every single chapter.
I feel like you're tricking us somehow.
I was wondering, are all these going to go together and build a sentence at the end of the book? That's what I wanted to go play with.
No, they are not. But I feel like if I pick and choose certain chapters to ask you, then sometimes it may be like, well, this seems obvious. Why is Joe asking me this? There must be a deeper meaning behind this. If I do it for every chapter, then the obvious ones are there, but also the not so obvious ones too.
Let's see. Clever little Joe. Trying to be, tricky little Joe.
Plus, also by asking them, it also makes you actually realize that there are chapter titles and you don't just skip over them.
Yeah, just
well,
pay
I
attention.
still do. And you'll never stop me.
Yeah, but now you do have to think of them when I bring them up. But here we go. On to chapter 33, Cymatics. And the first thing we have, there is some artwork. And the artwork is just images of the cities of Akira, Thalen City, Vadinar, and Kolinar from above, along with notes written by Kabsal. So it's pretty much the piece of paper he shows Shallan in the chapter. All right. And then the epigraph. They changed, even as we fought them. Like shadows they were, that can transform as the flame dances. Never underestimate them because of what you first see. Purports to be a scrap collected from Talatin, a radiant of the Order of Stonewards. The source, Govlow's Incarnate, is generally held as reliable, though this is from a copied fragment of the Poem of the Seventh Morning, which has been lost. And
that would fucking drive me crazy if I was a historian. Actually, I get that sometime with old Golden Age comics where you get a description of it, but the original is just gone forever. To have to be forced to trust a description or a copy or a fragment in something that's like a historical time, nuts. I would not enjoy it as a historian, but I'm sure that's incredibly common.
Too old to survive.
Or it was destroyed in a historical text, destroyed and then copied incorrectly on purpose. You never know,
I'm glad I'm not in that field. I would get so obsessed with it.
I would too,
like, instantly. Yeah.
Well, that's why you get to a situation like Jasna does where you have incredible resources, and can try to actually hunt this stuff down. All you got to do is be, a princess, right? Or royalty?
Yeah, just royalty with powers and a brain that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a Shallan chapter, and we begin with Shallan walking through the Palanaeum, looking around in wonder. Jasna has now been giving Shallan an hour a day to study whatever she wants. Recently, she has been reading Mildmer's Western Voyagers. Shallan is loving this place and how she can study and fill the holes in her understanding. But then she tells herself, no, that is not the reason why she is here. It was getting harder and harder for Shallan to stay focused on the theft. Shallan goes deeper into the Palanaeum to a place where, she likely won't be found. And she pulls out some of the stuff she's drawn and looks over some pictures she drew of Yasna's soul casting. One picture was of Yasna with the crumpled piece of paper, and the next picture, the piece of paper was fire. Yasna hadn't started the paper on fire, but she had soul cast it so the paper actually became fire. And another picture had Yasna soul cast wine into crystal to use as a paperweight. And there was another one where Yasna, she was burning letters onto a page after she had run out of ink. And Shallan knows that she needs to learn how to soul cast. That way when she gets the soul caster, she can make some new mineral deposits. Then they can give the soul caster back to the men that had confronted her brother. And once these new mineral deposits that she had made run out, they have already used that to pay off their debtors, and they could move their family to a less lucrative trade. And Shallan, she pulls out her soulcaster and she compares it to Yasna's in the picture. The broken link that had been on Shallan's had been fixed, and now it looks exactly like Yasna's. And she thinks about how stealing from Yasna had seemed acceptable when she was just an unknown heretic. But now Shallan is having doubts after she has met and gotten to know Yasna. But Shallan, she will still do it for Non-Balat, Tet Wickham, and Asha Jushu.
With names like that, I'm like, don't bother helping them. When she listed them all off, I'm like, I have no affection for any of these characters. Fuck them.
You just can't
Because
make
of the
someone named
names?
Non-Balat. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
he's a non-person.
Technically, Non is a title given to the first son in like a family, so his name's actually Balat.
Oh, that's even sadder.
You mean the guy who should be solving this problem for her, because he's the first son in the family?
Yeah, he's a blot, like an ink blot.
An ink blot?
That's
I
what
do
got
not
from
follow at all.
Bolat.
Sounds like blot.
The Disney character, the Phantom Blot.
I don't know.
Phantom Blot is from like Disney comics mostly. All right. And as Shallan's leaving that area, going, as she's walking, she sees a female ardent walking by with some parchment. And from the lighting behind this ardent, she looks as if one of the heralds were walking by. And Shallan's heart begins racing, and she thinks, man, I make a terrible thief. Shallan was here because Yasna had sent her to fetch and read a copy of Dialogues, which is a book about political theory. But Shallan does spend this time to find Shadows Remembered, which was the book she had seen Yasna reading last chapter. But Shallan is confused when she actually finds the book, because it is a book of children's stories. They were all ghost stories about spirits or void bringers, and Yasna is a Aristotelian, which means that she's trying to search for the actual truth in history. But what truth could she find in these children's stories?
Such a funny part to me. I always feel mean because I'm like, in our modern world, everybody knows that. Everyone's heard the quote of like, oh, every legend has a bit of truth in it, I always got to remember she lives in a different world where not everyone's heard those quotes that have been passed thousands of years. Like, come on, girl, if these are all fables people told their kids, you think that these random people were so like creative that they just made stuff up out of nothing and there's no thing in it at all,
Right.
Especially in a world where like monsters increase, I'm too judgmental, but
so
at the
much.
same time, yeah.
Also, we've seen this trope a lot,
Yeah, she has not watched as many movies as I have. I try to remember that.
Yeah, this is just what happened to Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows.
What? Oh, yeah.
This is a book of children's stories.
Shallan returns to her alcove, but finds that Yasna is not there. Instead, Kabsal was sitting there.
Oh, Sheta,
He says that he is here.
I was when this happened.
That's what I'm saying. You've been complaining about them not having them flirt together like you liked.
Yeah, I was like, here, yay! So I was really excited. I nestled in to see what would happen. So far, so good.
Sheta was complaining because the one chapter that Shallan has been in since Kabsal's first appearance had no Kabsal in it.
Yep.
You can't say this guy shows up, he's super attractive and cool, and then nothing for half.
Did they say he was attractive before this chapter? I don't remember that before. Did they?
Immediately, he's hot. Mm-hmm. That's why I was like, why
that is
give
not
me
how
that
I remember this, and yet I wasn't paying enough attention to argue.
Yeah, he threw me a bone and he took it away.
That's how he got you to read through all that boring action, is that it?
Right. Yeah.
Were the words washboard abs in there?
I'm not going to look through that entire first chapter, but when he first showed up, it just said he was a young ardent or a young man.
But we did get Shallan's POV that he was very handsome.
You're saying this. I don't remember it, but in this one we definitely do. Right. Having feelings that she should not have about him, I thought was funny. Every time I think you're crazy, Sheta, Brandon Sanderson proves that you're the one who was sane all along.
He's got my back. He set it up. So just following the clues.
All right. Yeah, so Kabsal, he tells her that he's here to see Jasnah, but Shallan notices the basket of bread and jam near his feet. And Shallan points out that Jasnah hates jam, but it is one of Shallan's favorite foods. And Kabsal, he's done this a dozen times in the past few months. Shallan says that he's worried about her soul since she is a ward to a heretic, and he confesses, yeah, I am. Shallan has her parchment put down her books, and she finds the stories that some parchmen are out fighting on the Shattered Plains to be unbelievable. She had never known a parchment to even raise its voice. But the reports she's heard indicate that the Parshendi are not like other parchmen. They might not be parchmen, but maybe a distant cousin, or a different race entirely. So Shallan sits down, and she and Kabsal begin sharing some bread and jam, flirting a bit throughout the entire chapter. Lots of flirting. And she looks at him, and she had never considered that the devotees would attract young men like Kabsal. And during the last few weeks, she found herself thinking of him in ways better left avoided.
Jeez, wanted to see those chapters.
What kind of ways? That?
Yeah, what does that mean? Jesus, that's a very interesting way to describe that.
See, the chapters would be the ones that you would be pretty much ripped right out of a 80s book with Fabio on the cover.
I was imagining some Twilight stuff. His abs were did from marble and I was super wet. That's how I remember those books going.
Ew, no they weren't.
That is exactly how they were.
I can't guarantee, it doesn't say here, but I doubt that she has seen Kabsal shirtless.
Yeah, he's probably wearing a freaking robe.
Yeah, robe that doesn't leave much to the imagination.
But then again, Kharbranth is a port city, so maybe they went to the beach and you get like the James Bond scene where it just comes out of the ocean just dripping with water.
Oh, God, no.
Money shot.
Mm-hmm.
Shallan is Bella's age, though. So.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
Kabsal, he begins talking about how there is this one book that says that you can tell someone's personality from the jam that they like. Like, take, for instance, the Simberry jam that they are currently eating. That one says that a person has a spontaneous and impulsive personality. As he continues to talk, Shallan interrupts him by throwing a piece of paper at him and saying that she was just being spontaneous and impulsive.
Oh, God.
So spooky.
These two are right. Disgusting. I don't want to.
This feels like sometimes I indulge in a guilty pleasure rom-com, and this is the kind of shit that's in there.
The kind of shit? You just said you indulge in it.
I know it's bad, and I barely like it.
Oh, I wouldn't call it bad. It's just fucking.
It's
cringy to watch two people flirt. It always is. In real life, usually, in a story, it just is.
And it's usually just for the actors. Like, if I like them enough, I'll put up with it.
Yep, and Shallan disagrees with the fact that a person's personality can be determined from jam or any other. She says these other things, but pretty much any sort of astrology. And she goes on saying that people are more complicated than that, and that, everyone is spontaneous at times, everyone's serious at times. All these personality traits that these things say could literally fit everybody. But she does say that with Kabsal in a much more flirting way the entire time. Eventually, Shallan and Kabsal, they begin talking about Yasna. Kabsal asks if she is a hard mistress. So Shallan says she isn't harsh. She's brilliant, beautiful, and mysterious, and Shallan is fortunate to be her ward. And she says that her heresy isn't as bad as Kabsal thinks, and that Yasna is rarely vocal about it unless provoked. She tells Kabsal that he should not worry about Shallan because Yasna is not trying to convert her. Kabsal leans forward, and Shallan thinks about how he's the only man her age she's talked to outside of her father's supervision.
Jeez.
But he was an Arden, so nothing could come of it. Could it?
Did they say the rules on Arden? Are they celibate, or have they not said?
I don't think they said, but I believe this stuff is heavily implies that they are.
That only adds to the tension. Am I right?
Who are you asking?
You guys, or someone listening.
No, that's my turn.
I think it adds to
that
it.
only works if she's a nun.
Be. Have you never, or it's that in Tropic Thunder, the Tobey Maguire Best Kiss Award movie. Forbidden Lovers.
That's
a good backdrop.
That's a very different situation.
Wasn't that an ad for a movie with Tobey Maguire and Robert Downey Jr.'s character?
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. About a forbidden love between two priests.
And I think at the end of the movie, it showed Tobey Maguire was nominated for Best Actor at the Academy Awards for that role.
I believe he was.
I want to see this movie.
You saw all the best parts in that trailer. There's no movie beyond that to watch.
Shallan and Kabsal, they continued to talk and flirt. She was fond of his company, and she found him handsome. And then Kabsal tries to convince Shallan to join his devotary.
There it is. The part where you think someone likes you, and then you see, they're just
trying to get you to join their devotary. Does that happen to you often?
Yeah. It's like, okay.
Unless he wants her to join his devotary, that way they can hang out more.
We can hang out not at church, is what I say.
Somebody in devotary doesn't have not at church.
Yeah. Well,
I think pretty much every person in Bornism's part of some sort of devotary. Shallan, she's in the devotary of purity, which teaches one to emulate the Almighty's honesty and wholesomeness. And Kabsal says that switching devoteries is allowed. Yeah.
Shallan is in the one for honesty and wholesomeness.
She does say that that's pretty much her father chose it for her.
Jeez, no, that's totally wrong. She's literally trying to steal from this woman, and she's an asshole who picks on her. That's funny.
Yeah, Kabsal says that switching devoteries is allowed. Shallan, responds that recruitment is frowned upon. Kabsal agrees, but he says all Ardents do it anyways.
When small rules are broken, I'm suspicious of rules being broken.
You mean if somebody steals a cookie early from the cookie tray that was made, they may be committing murder soon? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying it says a lot about a person's personality.
Well, this guy's interesting. He curses later soon and gets called out on it, right? So I do wonder about him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, he's the young cool priest.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
that's
I never trust those guys. He gets you to let your guard down, and then he gets you.
Well, Sheta, you also want Shallan to sleep with him, so he kind of needs to be the one to break the rules.
Yeah, but I still worry about my girl. I don't want her to get hurt.
Man, you are schizo with Shallan, Sheta. Half the time you're like, God, I hate this bitch. Half the man, she's such a great character. I love her so much.
I never said that. She's a young, naive girl.
You just called her your girl. You're just keeping me on edge. That's all I'm saying.
Good.
Kabsal talks about how he had hoped to be the one that could be able to convince Yasna to join a devotary. He says that he has real proof that the Almighty exists. He pulls out a piece of paper which has the images of Kholinar, Vedanar, Akina, and Thaylen City from above. They were all built, all these cities were built around existing land formations, and they all wound up being symmetrical because of that. And then Kabsal pulls out a metal plate, he pours some sand on it. And he pulls out a bow like you use for like a violin or a cello or something, and he draws it across the plate. The vibration it makes the sand move, and it moves into the exact shape of Kholinar. And then he drops some more sand on the plate, draws the bow across a different point of the plate, and this time the sand moves into the exact shape of Vadinar. And he does it 2 more times, and it makes, Thalen City and Akna. In Vorinism, symmetry is holy. And he points out that, even Shallan's name is almost symmetrical, so that way the name it's close to holy, but not quite. Which is something else you'll notice with a lot of other people, not all of them, but a lot of other people in the Vorin religion's names. They're almost symmetrical, but not quite symmetrical.
It's interesting because when he pours the sand in the plate, I'm like, okay, maybe we got something. When he starts talking about names being symmetrical, I'm like, bro, you're full of shit. People get named this. God doesn't name them these names. So that, he lost me there. I think it's very interesting to see him.
No, what it is, it's like the Vorin people, they're giving their kids names that, all right, I'm going to give you a name that's close to holy, but not quite. So then if somebody's name is exactly symmetrical, it's kind of showing their parents are kind of stuck up.
How does that discount what I said?
Well, from what you said, it sounded like he was trying to say that the names were chosen by God, where I'm saying it's more the parents trying to make them closer to God.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying he poured the stuff in, and he uses that as evidence as this stuff naturally falls into these symmetrical forms, and then cities are built in these forms. He kind of starts talking about, see, even our names are symmetrical, sort of, because of that reason. And talking about saying that our culture really values symmetry, and it's deep-rooted back into our old lore because of the letters and stuff that they took from the ancient thing. I lost the word for it, but where they'd base their letters on these ancient things, and that those just had symmetry too. So the name thing, I'm like, you're going too far with this. This isn't evidence. And I think it's really interesting to think that he's going to bring the stuff in and try to prove to Yasna that this all proves the symmetry stuff. And I'm just like, it's really interesting when somebody religious tries to talk to somebody non-religious and give evidence, not understanding how a non-religious person thinks. Well, also the non-religious person doesn't really understand how a religious person sees providence in many different things they look at.
And one thing I will let you two know, it didn't say it in this chapter, but says it in another one. With the Vorin names, when they talk about symmetrical, ignore the letter H. I guess for some reason that letter H doesn't count in the symmetrical stuff. So like Shallan's name, you get rid of the H, then it's Sallan. So it's almost symmetrical, just you have the S and the N thing different. But then you have Laurel's name, that is exactly symmetrical.
But they don't use our alphabet.
Not this again.
So no, that means that the names we're getting are not their real names. These are translated names.
Mm-hmm.
So that it'll make sense to us.
Yep, and Kabsal says that since the fact that all these like cities and stuff were built around symmetrical land, it proves that the Almighty created it.
Even Shallan can counter that argument, which I think is funny.
And then
it's
Yasna
just so
arrives.
Sad to watch him try to prove this to me.
And then Yasna arrives, and Shallan tries to apologize for meeting with Kabsal. But Yasna says that Shallan's allowed visitors, but she should be careful to look for teeth marks. Kabsal grabs his plates and prepares to leave. Yasna asks him if his plate, can it make the city of Urithiru, or can it only make the 4 standard cities? He says that Urithiru is just a fable. Yasna says that his type should be used to fables.
That was just mean.
Yeah. After Kabsal leaves, Shallan says that Yasna was being exceptionally rude. And Yasna says, well, he expected me to be like that, so I just gave him what he expected. Shallan points out that Yasna doesn't act that way with other Ardents, but Yasna says the others aren't trying to turn her ward against her. She asks if Kabsal has asked Shallan to steal the Soulcaster yet. Shallan worries for a moment, thinking, oh my god, Yasna knows everything. Wait, no, hold on. Think about what she actually said. And so Shallan says, no, he hasn't. But Yasna says he will, and she tells him that he's not interested in Shallan. Shallan says, well, that's arrogant of you, but Yasna answers, only if I'm wrong. And that's the end of the chapter.
Man, that is a golden opportunity led into Shallan's lap there. Not only does she need to steal this thing, she has exactly the easiest person to frickin' pin it on, too. That is such a nice score. As long as she's willing to betray everyone friended.
Easy money.
Mm-hmm. Now this plan actually seems feasible.
Well, God is on her side, I think.
I guess so. But not on the Ardent side?
He's not a good guy.
You think he's not a good guy?
This chapter has made me not for Kabsal.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What did he do to turn you against him?
He is using Shallan, and I don't like that.
What's the evidence? Besides what Jasna said.
Ever since the beginning, he was only here for Yasna. So I'll just say it now that that's my new ship, and I think that he's kind of just using to get at Yasna, you know.
I'm sorry. Are you saying what I think you're saying?
Kabsal and Yasna. His obsession with her to try to convert her is kind of like, is kind of part of his obsession with her in general, you know.
I thought you were saying that what Yasna's saying, which is she's using Shallan to get to Yasna to try to steal from her or use something. But you're saying he's trying to get to her to date her.
He just doesn't know that he is interested in her in more ways than that one.
That's what it is. Oh my God. I think I hate that one more than any other you've ever pitched, Sheta.
Why?
Because I see no evidence for it, and and you took the thing they're trying to make you think and turned it into a ship out of nowhere.
There's not. There was so much like sparks between them. Like they were just
they shared one line.
They shared a lot. They shared a lot more passion and spark than
there was no
anything
passion. That was, you're an idiot. Get out of here.
Yeah, that was so mean. But also
yes, it was.
You know, I liked it.
I will go with your Yasna Shallan ship over this, Sheta. I don't believe this even the teensiest bit. You are insane.
It's just Kabsal's obsession with trying to convert Yasna, trying to get her, you know, to come to his side. And
I got nothing. I'm just so flat. I feel like anything I say is just going to affirm what you're thinking more. So, dear God, Brandon Sanderson, let somebody start kissing in this book or Sheta's going to go insane.
I'm just keeping it open right now. So
next, I'm going to be hearing about the subtext between Rock and Teft.
That's all you. No, it's not.
Yeah. We'll.
So Shallan, Kabsal dead. Yasna, Shallan dead. Kabsal, Yasna.
See,
that's the sailing ship.
Well, I still think. Oh, this is one way. Kabsal's into Yasna, but she's not into him. Maybe just sexually, but not actually. And then okay,
Sheta,
sorry.
I'm gonna jump through this mic and attack you if you don't stop with this nightmare stuff.
It's not nightmare.
Okay, here's my reading of this.
He's attractive.
I think Kabsal is just a simple ardent. He's really getting along with Shallan because he likes to make clever little quips, she does, and they have a fun little time together. He also is genuinely worried about her soul being turned away because he's seen that Yasna is very persuasive in her atheism. And so he is reaching out to her, and he wants to try to reach out to Yasna, try to convert her because she's the ultimate heretic of this whole place. And any firm believer would feel it's their duty to best to convince the person that the faith is true. That's how I read this. Just the simple what is written, but no other thing.
There was a small line about him saying he wants to be the one to do it. He wants to be the one to get her.
Because he does have a sense of arrogance and pride. That's what I think. Not because he's like, if I could make her follow my religion, she'd be so thankful and she'd totally give me a kiss.
Not like that, but to get someone that strong to relent to you, That's
Oh, it's even worse than that. Oh my god, no.
yeah, get her to sit to you.
Stop. What is wrong with you? So this is an unhealthy fixation too.
Yes, it is.
He's like, I
very
must
much.
bring down this powerful woman to beneath my boot. That's what it is.
Yep.
We get an entire chapter of flirting, and it leads Sheta to believe, no, he's into the other person.
Flirting is so like surface level, you know? The things that you really care about are the ones that you don't say and you don't see.
All right, anything else from Mr. Either of you two want to go over?
Just that Yasna was badass for being a mean girl to Kabsal.
What? I thought she was way too mean. I don't think he deserved that. That wasn't an intellectual response. That was a low blow. I think Shallan's rubbing off.
Ew, Justin.
Get
Sorry.
out. Get out.
Get
Get out of here. You are a sick freak. You should be arrested by the Sanderson police.
I'm sorry. I do feel bad about it. This is an innocent book. Nothing's happened in the book, only in my head.
You need to read some of those Fabio novels. Get your brain cleaned out.
You know what? I not anything like that, so maybe that is something to think about.
That's our next podcast idea. We'll only read and discuss books with Fabio on the cover.
I'm into
I
that.
think there were hundreds of those, so we got plenty to choose from.
Jesus.
Are the worlds connected, just like the Cosmere stuff?
I hope not.
They're all the same Fabio. Fabio is Hoyd.
Like
All
a
right.
Hoyd who gets
So
laid in every dimension.
Yeah.
My goal is to travel to every dimension in the multiverse and get laid in every one.
Yeah.
That sounds
All
like
right.
a sweet series. Please go write it, Sheta.
Yes, I will. Actually, yeah. You heard it here first.
Okay, so the chapter of this title was Cymatics. Why do you believe that was chosen to be the title?
Because they performed cymatics.
Oh, interesting. I was wondering
Interesting.
I didn't know that was what it was called. How is Simberry spelled? Is it CYM? Like how cymatics is
No.
spelled?
Like the word sim. SIM.
Oh, okay. All right. And then I also thought maybe cymatics sounds like semantics.
Isn't it more like symmetry? That's how I interpreted it, even though it's spelled differently.
Well, sym is
It's also
like
a real
symbol.
thing.
Is it really?
Yeah, I know you can find YouTube videos of people doing it.
I figured that it was probably based on something, because if it just existed in this world, that'd be a pretty boring argument. So I'll have to look that up.
I mean, we have our own when sand does that thing and stuff like that, with the vibrations of different frequencies and things.
No, I don't. I have no idea. I'm very interested in this. No.
I thought it was really freaky that happened into the shapes. I was like, what does that imply about whatever's going on in this world where that would
No, I'm
be
sure.
affected?
I'm sure there's
weird.
a very simple explanation.
I don't like it. It's weird.
All right, let's go on to the next chapter. Chapter 34, Stormwall. Epigraph. I walked from Abba Mabar to Urathiru. This quote from the 8th parable of the Way of Kings seems to contradict Varala and Sinbian, who both claim the city was inaccessible by foot. Perhaps there was a way constructed, or perhaps Noadon was being metaphorical.
I don't think he was. I think he lost it.
You read a lot of the text to be able to determine that?
Well, no, but my
I don't
theory
think
of-
either, but the way you described it sounded like you've done much reading and you're an expert in the subject of this
I
fictional
have
book.
halfway through the book
Yeah.
now. So there's from my studies, the city of Urathiru is a mystery and it is to be uncovered yet.
So, back to Kaladin. So we start off the chapter, and Kaladin is strung up upside down outside the barracks, and he thinks back to what Lameril had said. Bridgemen aren't supposed to survive. Kaladin prods his body and diagnoses himself with a few cracked ribs, probably some broken ones, and also probably a broken collarbone and, swollen face from the beating. Syl tells Kaladin that it's okay. She got back at the soldiers that beat him up by making them trip 3 times today. She also says that there was a lot of yelling, several men got demoted, and Lamoral was executed by Sadeas himself. Lamoral had been shouting that, no, Kaladin's supposed to absolve me, and Gaz should be punished instead. But Sadeas is just like, nope, it's the right of the Light Eyes to take responsibility for this, and he executed him.
Yep.
That made me so happy.
And Gaz would...
I loved that he got killed off screen, because that guy was so, he was not likable. Yeah. So I love, did it make you like Sadeas that he came in and cut his head off himself, Sheta?
Yes. Badass. Sadeas 100%.
I'm just sad I didn't get to see that, as he's whining like, he would explain how it was his fault, not mine, to the very end, like a little idiot.
What a loser. Be a man to your responsibilities.
And then starts saying, no, it's Gaz's fault. Kill Gaz.
Yeah. And it's so funny because we saw he questioned it. Gaz said, oh, that's going to get him killed. And he signed off on it. He did deserve all his fault.
Yes, he did. He had a chance to stop it, and he didn't, because he's a simple-minded, middle management, power-hungry loser.
Yep, totally agree. So that did give me some respect for Sadeas.
And Gaz was left in his position.
Yeah.
Kaladin is to be made an example of. Syl flies off, and she comes back with Rock, Teft, and Moash. And Teft tells Kaladin that the battle was a disaster and that over 200 bridgemen died. Kaladin blames himself for their deaths, and he thinks again to Lameral's words. Rock tells Kaladin that they will remember him. They won't go back to the way that they were before. Moash says that Kaladin did this for them. And Teft says this isn't right. And he tells Kaladin that Sadeas had called him a selfish coward, but this was all that could have been expected from a person like him. He said that Kaladin was to be judged by the Stormfather, and if he deserves to live, then he will.
That's a mistake. That whole system is a mistake. It takes makes it look like you're not killing somebody or murdering them, and not making a martyr of somebody. But the second somebody survives, you've got a real problem on your hands if no one survives. I don't think that system's very smart.
Unless you truly believe in Providence and if it's true, then it's true.
It would be interesting to learn that Sadeas, of all people, truly believe in Providence.
I think he is.
We'll see how he reacts to how things go.
I think the fact that he is secretly on Dalinar's side shows that he does believe in that. A better way. And
how is he secretly on Dalinar's side? What the fuck are you talking about?
Where did that come from?
Well, I mean, like,
he's actively working against Dalinar and making him look like a traitor.
No, he's not.
A weakling. Okay.
He's helping him. He's helping him see that this is how you deal with the princes. You have to show power, and you have to not be such a wimp about going about getting everyone to be friends.
Yep, Sadeas the hero. I forgot, Sheta.
Kaladin tells them that he wants them to go back to the barracks and to tell the men that after the storm, come out and see him. And then Kaladin will open his eyes and they will all know that he survived. And Teft hands Kaladin a sky mark for luck. It's like old saying is, a light by which to see at night.
Mm-hmm.
After
old
they leave,
fables that actually have some relevance. That's what I think there.
Mm-hmm. It's still with us. Maybe
after they leave,
it's true.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And after they leave, Syl asks Kaladin why he told him that. He said that he's placing a bet. If he dies, then they will simply think, well, we knew that was going to happen. But if he survives, then it will be a miracle and it will give them hope. Kaladin watches as the high storm comes and then the storm wall hits. And that's the end of the chapter.
This is one of those chapter breaks I hate when I think, okay, are we going to cut to some other shit for a while? So I'm really glad it just continues from where it was.
Yeah, the storm happens. Yay. I don't have to wait.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I could have ended our chapters for the week there. That way you have to wait a week to see it.
Yeah.
That would have been a dick move, bro.
Oh, I have a question. Are the audiobook narrators Canadian?
What?
Because sometimes when they say sorry, like that. So I was just curious.
Michael Kramer was born in Minnesota.
Well, there you go, Sheta. That's basically Canadian.
Honorary Canadian.
Honorary Canadian. Wow, you I'm okay.
Kate Redding was born in Brooklyn. Oh, and but her parents moved to England when she was a baby, and then she came back to the United States to attend the University of Virginia. So she was an American, but was raised in England.
Interesting.
All right. So the name of this chapter was Stormwall. So why was that chosen for the title?
Because there's a storm
Isn't
wall
that
coming.
what they? Yeah, that's what they call the beginning of the storm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, straightforward.
Both real and metaphorically,
Kaladin,
there is.
Yeah, Kaladin is the storm wall coming in, ready to do some damage.
You're not out here with me. I'm out here with you. Is that
Yeah.
to the storm?
Bring it on.
Wow, badass, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then we'll move on to our last chapter of that we did this week. Chapter 35, A Light by Which to See. Epigraph. Though many wished Eurytheru to be built in Alethala, it was obvious that it could not be. And so it was that we asked for it to be placed westward, in the place nearest to honor. Perhaps the oldest surviving original source mentioning the city, requoted in the Vavibrar, line 1804. What I wouldn't give for a way to translate the dawn chant. Chapter begins and Kaladin is being torn up and thrown around by the storm. And yeah, he winds up flapping up in the air like a kite in the wind, just held on by the rope to the barracks. Syl shouts at him to grab the roof, and he does, grabbing the side, and he's still holding that sky mark in his hand. And while he's holding on, can't see anything, it's just pitch black out, but he could feel a boulder hit the roof beside him. His fingers begin to slip, and Syl tells him to grab the ring that the rope is tied to, which he does. Kaladin continues to be buffeted by the storm. There's flashes of lightning, and in the flashes of lightning, Kaladin looks forward, and he can see Syl standing in front of him, with her arms forward, as if she was trying to hold back the storm. His fingers go numb, and he slips, and he was whipping in the air again, getting slammed down onto the roof of the barracks. And then everything goes still, and Kaladin is in blackness. And, there's no storm, no wind, no lightning. And he stands up to his feet, and he can't feel his wounds. And then in this darkness, he sees an enormous face in front of him, and it extended far to each side, but he could still see it. And the face was smiling. And then the sphere in Kaladin's hand bursts to life. It gets infused with stormlight. And then the storm returns, and Kaladin's once again being buffeted. He wonders if what he had seen was a vision or a delusion. And then he blacks out. And then for the end of the chapter, we jump over to a Teft point of view. After the storm, Bridge 4, they come out to check on Kaladin. Rock's going out there all gung-ho, and in his mind, Teft is chiding Rock because Rock believes. And Teft questions whether he himself does believe. As he gets out there, he steels himself and looks up at Kaladin. The corpse looks like a hunk of slaughterhouse meat. Teft had seen enough dead men on the battlefield to know what he was looking at. And Teft thinks, I had almost believed in you. And then Kaladin's eyes snap open, and he drops a dun sphere from his hand. The sphere should have been infused after being out in a high storm. After a moment of looking, Teft shouts at the men to get a ladder and cut him down. And Teft thinks about how Kaladin surviving a high storm should be impossible, and a dun sphere after a storm should also be impossible. But together, they bespoke something that should have been even more impossible. And he softly says to Kaladin, you better survive, son, because I want some answers. And that's the end of our chapters for this week.
I don't trust that smiling face. I know it's friendly, but I think it's eating people in the high storm. Sucking out their souls, and that's why they die.
They don't die. They survive.
People in high storms?
He smiled at Kaladin and he survived.
Yeah. So you're saying you believe that this being helped him live, but I'm saying I think that it's eaten people, and that's why they die in the high storms. But because he has whatever power he has, his sphere protected him. Only the unworthy. Well, it was in blackness, right? And we've had blackness described as something that things are in by Gaz. And I'm sorry, what's the name of the book? Shadows Revealed or
Shadows
like
Remembered.
remembered, yeah. So there's something about shadow or darkness and light in this world that we don't know about. However, when the high storms come, they give Dalinar his visions. So actually that adds credence to this face being a benign entity of some sort.
I think God should be a little scary, especially to mere mortals, So,
Well, is it scary or is it trapped in there, This either good or bad entity?
Was chilling in there.
Chilling? You think it's just chilling out? I thought your theory was that the high
chilling.
storms were the ocean that had been sucked up into the sky.
What the? I never said that.
Yes, you totally did. You said this is the ocean floor and something happened, so all the water was taken, and that the high storms come from that water.
I don't remember this.
All right, then I guess it's my theory now. If it happens, then I get to take credit for it because you don't remember saying it.
I talked about the oceans, and I talked about... I don't know, it sounds kind of familiar, but I didn't say how you said it.
Yeah, because it's my theory. Totally original, based on nothing. Because I think that these are unnatural. I don't think these are supposed to happen. And they say, take the sphere out, have light in the darkness. Maybe the face actually was there because of whatever's happening with him, and it was cutting through whatever the darkness is or whatever's in it, maybe. I still don't trust it. I don't trust cloud faces. That's all I'm saying.
I think you just don't trust God.
I said I don't trust giant faces. If giant faces are God, then I would be distrustful if it appeared in front of me. That's all I'm saying.
You not trust Zordon from Power Rangers?
Yeah.
Well, that's different. He's in a tube. That's different. It's not all giant faces. It's specifically ones in natural phenomenon staring down at me.
Anything else from this chapter either of you two want to go over?
I really liked his description of it being a gambit. That was in the last one, but just going all in, like if I die, whatever. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. I think that's the ultimate... I don't know what I was going to say. Test of faith, I was going to say, but that's not right. I was really sad because I was like, can't Syl do something to help Kaladin? She's a Windspren, So it was really cute when she was trying to help him.
Yeah. Yeah,
and she did. She was like,
yeah, she was super useful.
Yeah. So cute. I think Syl's going to be pretty important.
I agree with you.
All right. So this chapter was called A Light by Which to See. So why was that chosen for the chapter title?
Well, I think it's the sphere. The light you get in the sphere allows you to see in the dark. That allowed him to see the face, instead of just being killed by the things in dark storms, which I do believe is a thing, whether that's the face or not. Maybe those weird geometry-headed guys who Sheta thinks are the Voidbringers, something like that.
Yeah, the light is just, there's a special thing that's happening with the spheres.
I'm glad that Teft is putting it together, that somebody's noticing, because the chapters have been pointing it out every time, and nobody knows what's going on.
All right. Well then, let's move on to our theories and predictions segment. I guess the first question, we already kind of have an answer from Sheta, but we'll see if she has more to it. But I'm just going to ask. Does Kabsal, is he interested in Shallan, or is she just using her to get towards Jasnah?
See, even Joe asked the question, Justin.
It was brought up in the chapter. No one brought up, is he trying to fuck Jasnah? That was never brought up.
He's a priest. He probably doesn't know what he wants, but his body does.
Oh my god, no. I think he's interested in Shallan. I think that he's pretty much on the surface level what he's portrayed as. I think Jasnah's distrust of him is just going to be something that Shallan can use against, or to protect herself if she chooses to.
Oh, that would be pretty dark if she gave up the guy she had a crush on to Jasnah's anger.
Yeah, that's fully what I think. It's whether she makes that choice or not, I don't know, but I think she's going to wind up having to consider it.
Dang, that's dark. Yeah, I don't know. I think he kind of... Okay, so this is just my personal experience, or not experience, but thoughts.
Experience.
When a guy, I think Kabsal puts on the airs that he's very innocent and just, that stuff, but he has revealed tiny things that make me distrust him, like I already said. And the things he's doing, which is like leaning in close and talking with her and acting like he cares about her, and kind of like just the slight like touch of the hand and all that stuff. It's just so manipulative to me. To especially her naive. She said this is the first man she's ever been alone with, and he knows that, and I feel like is really laying it on thick. I think a normal priest or ardent wouldn't do that.
Yeah, but he also said they're like the only two people around the same age that can talk to each other, right?
Yeah, but I just don't really trust that. She's just so naive,
So a guy walks in, a priest guy, says, "Hey, how you doing?" She says, "Hey." They talk kind of innocuously, and you think, I want them to hook up. Next time we see them, they're overtly flirting with each other. She's overtly attracted to him, and he's specifically coming to spend time with her. And you think, I don't fucking trust this guy.
Uh-oh, what does that mean? I don't trust.
I don't know that it says anything. It does imply that a healthy, natural relationship, I don't know. Some kind of fucked up, taboo stuff, you're like, oh, that's going to happen.
I guess I don't trust things as they are. Like, just take it at face value.
Well, same thing, like Elend and Vin, easily getting together at balls. You're enjoying the romance, but you're like, I think this guy has an ulterior motive. I don't trust him. Vin and Zane, you're like, I think this might be the OTP. I think they belong together.
I never said they belong together. I just enjoy their
You were legit hoping she would abandon Elend and travel off with Zane.
For her own like enjoyment, but is that right? To enjoy violence and stuff, and
Is that a question?
I thought the story would take a turn, a real turn at that point, where Vin would become the villain of the book at that point. If she was like kind of dangerous at that point because we didn't know what she was really feeling and stuff. So I thought it was possible, and I think that's in there. Her picking Elend or Zane will determine kind of like what happens, to the world.
He'd have just wanted Elend to be NTR'd.
No, it's as simple as Zane is more my type. That's all.
Okay.
Back when you could have Shallan corrupt the priest, you're into it. Now that he seems like he's on the level, you're like, eh. That's what that says about you, Sheta.
No, now right. He's trying to corrupt her, and I don't like that. I don't know, it's like a double standard. So
I'm gonna watch and see if you go against that other way. Like, what, you just liked Zane and Vin. What are you talking about? That was him trying to corrupt her.
Oh yeah, I guess yes. I guess just certain types of corruption I'm into, and other types I'm like, that's not cool.
What type of corruption is Kabsal trying to do? A person with their religion trying to work with somebody that believes in the faith and be like, I just want to make sure you don't become a heretic.
Well,
corrupt her into his heretical religion.
Just against her own beliefs. And then mostly, I just don't want him breaking her heart. That's my main thing.
So you think he's like a scoundrel, like bard type who just gets with all the pretty girls who come around and then doesn't care about them? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Let's go on to the next question. My next question is, we've been seeing Shallan really...
I'm sorry. I forgot that was off of a fucking question. Sheta, you derailed that whole thing.
All right. Next one, Shallan, she's, we've been seeing that she's starting to get some doubts and stuff about whether or not she wants to steal from Jasnah. So I'm going to ask, will she go through with the plan? Will Shallan steal the Soulcaster?
I don't think she will. She has loyalty to her family. And I think she's been too well-trained to be like that.
I agree, but my reason is because I think it'd be the most of the story if she did. I just think if you have all this build-up and then it ends up being like, no, that's wrong. That would be... I'd be very surprised.
My other question will be, what's going to happen after Kaladin survived this high storm?
Well, I think everyone of the Bridgemen is gonna. I don't know if they'll hate him or follow him. Yeah.
Well, I think they're going to follow him. I think he's going to be sure that they're going to hate him, but I think they're going to see that there was a way that an entire bridge survived, not understand that it was at their expense, like he sees it. Also see that he's survived as a messianic figure and try to take at least training seriously the way he does it with it's what I expect, which is going to cause problems because it doesn't work for the rest of the army. Kaladin's going to realize the Bridgemen aren't supposed to survive, and he's going to start a movement inside of the Bridgemen that's going to cause trouble up, but with everybody hearing that he survived the high storm on Lord Sadius's own order, it's going to cause problems for the whole army.
I think Sadius is going to hear of his survival, and because he's so devout, he's going to talk to Kaladin. That's my theory.
But
Sadius cares about getting the gemstones fastest, That's his one thing he cares about. You think he's going to say, Kaladin, you stopped me from getting to a gemstone fast enough. I'm going to put you into all of this so I can fail again. That's what you expect?
Also, Kaladin has dark eyes. Would he really put him into the position of a light eyes?
You know what? I know what's going to happen. He's going to open his eyes, and they will be light.
No, they would have said that already when he opened his eyes.
Nope, because he just opened it. The next chapter will be, and his eyes were bright.
No. They would have said that because they made such a big deal about him opening his eyes. They would have said that. What I think is going to happen with that is that...
No. Listen, a sphere is kind of like an eyeball. An eyeball can be filled with light. Maybe that's what the light eyes are, Justin.
That's all fine if they were a chapter, if he got it from the storm. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I don't think so, because it was cool enough that his...
Okay, this will be either proved or disproved immediately upon the next Kaladin chapter, so I don't think we should debate it too much.
That would be cool.
What I think is going to happen is he's going to amass some power within the bridge people, keep building things up. I think Sadius is going to get enough of it and eventually do something that's going to lead to everyone protecting, probably dying or having something horrible happening. But he'll be big to challenge Sadius to battle. Kill Sadius, Sheta. Just kill him dead. Get his armor and then become a light eyes, like beating light eyes, like they always say happens. That's my expectation.
You mean like a coup?
How's that a coup?
I think it will...
A duel, Sheta.
A duel, okay.
Justin,
they
specifically say that you win a shard blade, you become a light eyes, not a shard plate.
Oh, do they? Well, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
What it's going to be is some other thing then. Oh, Sadius will find a shard blade then. It'll be because Kaladin's runs were so efficient, but Sadius, and then he'll finally challenge him the second he gets the shard blade. There you go. That's what'll happen then. And then, thing. That's my expectation. Not rooting for Sadius at the end here.
Any other theories or predictions you two want to throw out there?
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to say how cute I thought it was that Lopin was like their water boy. Like,
yeah, are they going to have an official water boy for the bridge crews? That would be funny. I liked when they said just having water made them like they had like 30 more men,
Okay. So there seems to be some kind of connection between carrying something, like having a feeling of strong faith or something like that sparks some in Kaladin, in other characters to actually be empowered, like literally powered up and stuff. So when they're doing the bridge run, it's a suicide run, and Kaladin thinks of what his old captain said to him to care, and he says he does care. And then he runs into it and feels a surge of energy, I think, and then he felt like kind of stronger, kind of like empowered. And then at the end, his fears were done. I think that feeling is a described, like, it's how you describe like using a power, a superpower.
The reason I don't know if that is, But I think being a magical effect from different emotions could lend some credence to the line of thought you're following, you know?
Oh, I didn't think of that, but that's a good one.
Yeah, that would be the only thing that would give me much thought of that. Because he certainly didn't feel like he believed in anything on his couple runs he did, but he still survived them, you know? He's definitely drawing in the energy from those spheres, though. But I think that the energy from that and going to be kind of tied together.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. And then I think something about the singing and stuff that the Parshmen do is related to the sematics of what's his name was doing, Kabsal, you know. Something about song or sounds
Oh, the vibration,
to...
right? That's good.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I was looking that up earlier, and it's just when people talk about that religiously in real life, they're talking about how many religious texts start with sound being kind of the creation of all existence, and that we all come from one vibration, like divine vibration. That's kind of the idea of it. So in that regard, I think you have something there, Sheta. I think the singing, I think it's completely tied to that. I like that a lot.
Okay. I think that's... Yeah. Besides my Kabsal and Yasna.
Okay. We don't need to rehash that.
Yes, that's it.
That is
Okay.
not a theory. That is something nightmarish, Sheta.
Okay, one other thing I wanted to bring up, because I remember Justin brought it up towards the end of last week's episode, and he's like, it's too late, we'll talk about it next time, was that in our last set of chapters, Yasna brought up the word the Cosmere, and Justin said he wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, I was shocked to see that written down in an actual book, because we know the Cosmere is something more than just one world, you know? Mm-hmm. So the idea that they have that in their text somewhere, and it's just a concept she can drop with everybody knowing it, you know, is so fascinating to me to see that they would drop that and then not go into what that means from her context. It's very frustrating, actually.
Yeah. What does that imply?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's basically what they just call the universe, you know? Like,
that's my guess.
Sounds kind of like that, you know? Like,
yeah. Universe, or the not universe, not multiverse, but the essence that binds everything that's everything together. That's how I'd assume it is from their context, you know, because they're all in kind of old-timey worlds. We know space exists because we saw it from Vin's point of view, because we saw Vin fly up into space and try to move the sun and see from that perspective. So we know that space and assumedly stars are what they are in our world. So I don't know what that says about the universe, you know, in relation to these different worlds we've been visiting that have some kind of shared thing. So it's very fun to have it just kind of dropped like that, you know, that there's something more to it, and that the people in universe have some concept for this that I don't.
It was cool that the Cosmere, to learn that it's not just a meta thing.
Yeah,
that
it's something that exists in universe. It's not. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm excited to learn more about that. And I also really like that. I really love when there's mystery things that are dropped into a story like this that make it seem so much bigger and more fascinating. And I like when they don't immediately answer it. So I've been really enjoying all these weird little drops, the Hoyd stuff, all this stuff like that. And then like the kind of, I do feel that little glimpse we saw from Sazed's perspective beyond the veil, you know, when he sends back that note to I think that whatever's beyond death, I feel like it's going to tie things together a bit. They dropped a name of a being that was very like a high up being in that book too. And I think that there is some God beyond all. I think there's something tying it all together, some force. And I hope to see that. And I'm curious how much Yasna knows about this just from that one teeny little word drop.
Yeah, I think the word that Sazed said in one of the epigraphs was Aiden Nalsium.
Yep, I know it started with an A. Yeah, super interesting.
All right, so I guess now we'll move over to our characters of the week.
Well, mine's easily Kaladin this week because he did his bridge run unsuccessfully. He immediately realized how fucking horrible it had gone. He immediately realized there were going to be horrible consequences for him and his bridge crew. he immediately came up with a plan on how best to put all of it on himself and not on his crew, while also giving him the potential to live a little longer. He laughed at what's his name for beating him too much so that he couldn't take the blame like he wanted and got executed. And then he survived a high storm. And before surviving the high storm, he did a frickin' like divinity gambit where he's like got everyone now thinking that he's a messiah who was spared by the gods, you know. It's just too much smart, clever, cool stuff in one chapter for me to not really like him.
That's true. I didn't think he was capable of that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was like tactically pretty smart and like
Yeah,
good with soldier stuff, but not like some kind of mastermind, you know.
I don't know about a mastermind, but not as simple as I would expect.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm really torn with my favorite character of the week. I have 3, but I think I'm gonna go with Lopin. I just liked him, and I thought his I guess his energy was really nice and refreshing. And I'm sad that he came into the story like too late to big character. Everything changed, you know. I would have liked to see him like trying to help out while Kaladin is like still trying to get the crew together.
I think he would have just been killed because I think the only reason they didn't really bother or care about him doing water run as was like it's gonna, and you know, I think if it was back when Kaladin had no control, nobody would have liked that he wasn't working, you know, that he wasn't caring, and he would have just died immediately like he assumed. So I think this is the best time for him to come in.
That's true.
Imagine this from his perspective. He barely knows what's going on. He comes in, this guy does a thing, he doesn't know it's out of the norm, and then survives a high storm, and he's following this guy. His thing about him being like the one guy picked, it really wound up being true. Him raising his hand for that, you know. He's seeing the most interesting thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. No questions he would have died.
Yeah. 200 guys just died, except for Bridge 4. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So definitely he would have just died. See, he's really smart. I like him.
Yeah. Him being like, seemed like it'd be cool. Shows that he is smarter than he appears. You know?
Yeah. I don't think it's that he seemed that he was like that he liked Kaladin. I think he knows how to sniff out like his best survival chances, you know.
Oh, I don't read him that way at all. I think he's a pretty simple-minded guy, you know, who's kind of just go with the flow, like, you know.
I think he's more than he seems.
It very well could be.
But you said other 2 favorites?
Yeah, you said you were torn between 3. I'm just curious who your other 2 were.
Okay. Yeah. Second was Teft. I really liked his I really liked his journey so far, and I really liked how he was there at the end with wanting to believe that Kaladin would survive. And
yeah, it was tough.
And he's also the one who like wanted to sit with Kaladin during the storm, and then he got too scared and he went inside. So I thought, and he really chastised himself for doing that too.
I really liked his part where, idiot, he died. Like, why is Rock pretending he thinks he's going to be alive, and then realizing, don't I also kind of think that? Don't I kind of believe? And that's why he's so angry about it, you know?
Yeah. I love that kind of character. You want to believe too. That's why you're so mean, you know? Like, I like it. It's very cute. And then my last favorite, I was going to pick Yasna for just being such a cold bitch.
Yeah, my character of the week, I'm going with Syl. I just enjoyed her. She's coming over to Kaladin. It's like, it's okay. I got revenge on those guys. I tripped them a few times. And then in the storm, like telling him, like, you know, trying to help him out, grab the side, grab the ring, stand in front of him, trying to hold out her arms and stopping the storm or making it go around him. I just thought all that was cool.
I'm glad she tried to help. It makes it really cool that he has someone like that on his side.
Well, if it wasn't for Syl, Kaladin would be dead by now.
You think
he would have jumped into the chasm.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Now let's go with the quote of the week.
My quote is a very simple one this time, because this was mostly action stuff. It's when Shallan and Kabsal are talking. There are worse things to be than a disease. When you have one, it reminds you that you're alive. It makes you fight for what you have. When the disease has run its course, normal, healthy life seems wonderful by comparison. And then and would you rather not be a sense of euphoria, bringing pleasant feelings and joy to those you affect? To which Shallan replies, euphoria passes. It is usually brief, so we spend more time longing for it than enjoying it. Look at what we've done. Now I'm depressed. I just thought it was funny. I felt that with getting sick. Everyone has, you really appreciate being well. And I also like the counter that euphoria is actually a pretty horrible, depressing thing at the end. I usually don't like that kind of back and forth banter, but I liked that one quite a bit. Finding optimism in the negatives and pessimism in the positives. I thought fun. That's pretty much all.
Okay. Okay. This is when Kaladin is looking at Lopin. All right. You can use me, the man said. We Herdazians are great fighters, Gon. He pronounced the last word on, and it appeared to refer to Kaladin. You see, this one time I was with, 3 men, and they were drunk and all, but I still beat them. His voice very quick pace, his thick accent slurring the words together. He'd make a terrible bridgeman. He might be able to run with the bridge on his shoulders, but not maneuver it. He even looked a little flabby around the waist. Whatever bridge crew got him would put him right in the front and let him take an arrow and be rid of him. The next part's good too, but I just laughed so much at Kaladin thinking this about him. Like this one-armed little spunky guy who with that attitude he can't place, like being all like useless and weird, and he ends up picking him even. I don't know. It just made me laugh.
Just gonna annoy the hell out of any bridge crew he was put on to the point where they'd purposely try to get him killed.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you stand here, okay?
If he comes in like, hey guys, what are we doing? You'd be like, yeah, you stand in front. Get the, we don't want your attitude around here.
Mm-hmm.
I love how after all the stuff with him talking to Kaladin, it's just like, all right, what's a bridge crew?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was just so cute in his weird little optimism and like energy, like so far removed from the horrors that the bridge crew has seen and stuff, And I do want to know what he also says about him, like if he had either a really nice master or what, because he had a slave mark, like how did he keep up this attitude? So I guess my quote is just Kaladin's entire first impression of this guy.
My quote is really short. It's just in the middle of the storm. In those brief moments of light when he dared to look, he thought he saw Syl standing in front of him, her face in the wind, tiny hands forward, as if she were trying to hold back the storm and split the winds as the stone divided the waters of a swift stream. Same thing, pretty much same reason why I picked Syl as my character. I just thought that image in my mind during that whole chapter, just seeing like all the storm, the one thing that always sticks in my mind is just seeing like this little blue fairy girl just hands forward trying to stop it.
It's too cute. No.
Yeah, too cute. Much more useful than Navi.
Hey, Navi tells you when Saria wants to talk. People always give Navi shit, but Navi's the one who lets you lock onto enemies, so I find that very useful.
All right. Let's go over to some comments we've gotten. These will all be from our Way of Kings, chapters 26 to 28 episode, which was the episode that Data was on. First from Krinko Shade 4814. The Cosmere Chronicles presents an adaptation of famous novel by Brandon Sanderson, directed by Sheta R.R. Shipper, consulted by Data F. Rama,
Oh god.
Joe and Joe, and starring confused Justin P. Beaver, The Way of Kinks.
Yeah. Oh god, no. No.
I love it. Let's do it.
Oh god. Hey, we just got to reach out to Apple TV. Make it a reality.
Can we do it? Like
We got the best pitch ever. What if we piss off every fan of these books with a bunch of crazed nonsense?
All right, and then next is from J. Ramirez 34. Maybe Adolin and Sadius were a thing, and Adolin distrusts him because he's a jilted lover. Some things make so much more sense now.
Don't encourage her.
I like that one.
From Adel 8. Bro, somewhere in the multiverse, there's a live-action movie of this book where Rock is actually played by The Rock, and he actually says his catchphrase as he's cooking the meal for them.
Oh my god!
No! Now you got me hoping, man. That's my dream casting now. But he says it real casually, just in character. Can you smell what The Rock is cooking? It's a stew.
Oh my gosh. No, it'd be more like Kaladin saying it. Can you smell what Rock is cooking?
Yeah. He says that, and then Rock turns over and does his iconic eyebrow thing questioningly. It's like a call to the audience of like,
a quiet
did you just say catchphrase? Oh God, no. I hate
what is
so
this
much.
movie made in like the 2000s?
Next is just like, Dunny, I need those spices. Just bring it.
Oh God, no. No, Lord, please deliver me from this.
Are there going to be a
movie.
bunch of a bunch of wrestlers in the bridge crew? That would be funny.
Oh no, don't do that. Don't do that.
And I'm having a hard time getting the Rock's other catchphrases to fit, because I don't see this Rock telling somebody to shove something up their ass or telling them that it doesn't matter what they're thinking.
It's
unless it's in his native language in part of a sentence.
All right. Next comment from Koval Patrol 28. The Adolin Sadius secret gay couple is a crazy shipping theory.
Why am I not surprised? This is a focus of what people are talking about here.
Well, now I'm just sad that it's not going to happen.
Next one from TechSoul5590. They did tell me to trust you. Salinar ship comment had me rolling. So I guess earlier in that episode, Sheta had also mentioned a short-lived Dalinar Sadius ship.
Oh, God.
Yes.
And then from Reader Warrior, his comment, welcome, Data. And then since we picked our Futurama characters, I'm going to pick Hermes because we are both organization-oriented. Scruffy for my secondary background pick.
Yeah, Scruffy.
And then chapter 26. What happened to the 1st through 16th shards, or why that number may be important? Please,
to the rule of 16 from Mistborn.
Please, no sad thorn ships.
Oh God! Don't give it a name. You're just making it more powerful.
It's happening.
All right. It's not just the thrill of battle; it's the thrill. Capital T.
Yep. Capital T. Yep. Which makes
I'd recommend
more
watching
somehow.
It is worse. It's a lot more provocative.
The thrill.
I'd recommend watch the Knights of Guinevere pilot and the blue oil blood they use in it. That's a good showcase of different color blood without looking cartoony.
Ooh.
Oh, I like different colored blood. I like Vulcan blood. You know, I even like Klingon blood. I'm not too picky on that stuff.
Talking swords in the Cosmere? That'll never happen.
Done and done.
Wait, Wit isn't Rumpelstiltskin? I need to re-evaluate my knowledge then.
I do think of him like Rumple.
This is chapter 26, so I'm going to guess somebody mentioned Wit or something like that, and I don't remember the context.
Something about once upon a time when we brought up Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah, I don't remember the context too.
Chapter 27. You can have too much Twilight, but you can never have too much Pinkie Pie.
Yeah.
You know, I do agree.
Bridge 4 wrap up. Bridge 4 wrap up. And then chapter 28. I think the cobalt color is more caboose than church. But as I said, in Halo, the color caboose is, the color that they call that in Halo is just blue. And if you're switching armor color, the color that church is, they call it cobalt.
Yeah.
At least in Halo 1. It may have changed in the later games.
Mm-hmm. Cobalt is one of those colors that no one can agree what it is. Like, even from
true.
Yeah, from paint to paint, like it's slightly different.
Is it one of those? Does everyone just see it differently, and we're all arguing about nothing?
I don't know.
Like, so some people see oranges as more orange, some is more red, and people argue like crazy about it.
I think Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it is kind of in one area, of like between these, like a little green blue area, but the specific shade is not like defined.
It's all blue to me. That's my philosophy on that stuff.
Like
It's
I said,
either blue or it's green.
For me, I'm just going by what Bungie tells me. Bungie told me that church was blue, was cobalt, so that's what I'm going to go with.
Definitely just contextual is what will matter.
All right, then for the theory segment. So you think there's a harmony and a discord on Roshar?
Are we doing more fucking My Little Pony stuff?
Yeah.
No. I don't
got the
I've
elements of harmony and discord as a villain in My Little Pony. They're doing it. Sheeta's 1,000-year prophecy is coming true.
Harmony is the groups working together. In Discord. Yeah, see? It is in there.
Yep. Friendship is magic. Sheta, you called the whole book.
I don't think I've ever heard someone throw out that. There's not even an adjective for how disturbed I am. Saddle and ship.
Oh, God, no. Don't name them.
I want to see more of them.
Oh, God.
You can't fix Sadius's ugly face.
I think he's got one of those ugly, attractive faces, though.
That goes against everything described in the book. You're imagining him as this beautiful, handsome guy just because that's how he tries to act. He's not.
But some of the most attractive men have ugly faces, because like Daniel Craig has kind of an ugly face, but he's still attractive.
I know what you're talking about. And when you see guys like that, you call them rugged or handsome. You don't call them ugly.
They describe Sadius as having a bulbous nose.
So does Daniel Craig.
I'm imagining more, no offense, but a Steve Buscemi.
Who's adorable. Well, we'll wait till... No,
it's not the face that launched 1,000 ships. That's all I can say.
No, he launches his own over Bridgman.
Oh, God.
Oh boy, the Axes interlude. The 17th Shard Arcanist loved that one. I did get to meet him, though. He taught me how to make Fabrials.
I don't know if that's true.
Maybe there was like a cosplayer or somebody portraying him at like one of the cons.
Oh, fun.
That's my guess. All right. So that's all our comments for this week.
Assume you did not read the "you people are fucking sick" comments.
Yeah, did you censor that?
But Sheta, since we're at this point, a lot of people might have dropped off, so I'll allow you now. Last week there was the My Little Pony connection thing, so you can go ahead say the characters that go along with whatever those were.
Okay.
Just do it, get it out the way.
So it's the elements of harmony, but in the Way of Kings. So I did it by also thinking about what characters in My Little Pony got the element that they got, So I also kind of tried to think of it like that. So for honesty, which is what Applejack got, I chose Dalinar because he seeks the truth. He's trying to figure out, what's happening and stuff like that. And he stays really honest. And he kind of says things kind of bluntly, even though you don't want to hear it, Too honest almost. Okay, and then second was kindness, which is Fluttershy's symbol. And I chose Rock as kindness. Because he's super nice. I think that's one of his
feeding
main...
people Chaldung was nice.
Yeah, Fluttershy would not do that.
She gets
You know what?
feisty.
I'm not going to argue. The more I argue means the longer this goes.
He's nice. He's the nicest guy in this whole book, I feel like. Okay, anyways. Second is laughter, which is Pinkie Pie's. And I chose wit for that one.
Oh, God. Wit gets a cutie mark? Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's an element.
Oh,
but yeah,
my
wit
God.
uses laughter. Same as Pinkie Pie. Same kind of energy. All right, then generosity is rarities. And I chose Kaladin for generosity. Because he's always doing stuff for others. And he's very generous in giving and putting himself on the line for people, which is what Rarity does too. And Then for loyalty, which I almost picked Kaladin for that one, that's Rainbow Dash, and I picked Zeth for loyalty because he has no choice to be loyal to his master. And he's loyal to his oath or that he's taken.
Loyalty has become enslavement. Okay, gotcha.
And Rainbow Dash is badass, and so is Zeth. All right, last one is Magic, Twilight Sparkle, and that's Syl, of course, for being our magical character. And I think is going to end up being a bigger character in the future. Same with Twilight Sparkle. So that's the Elements of Harmony, Way of Kings version.
One thing I might say, that first one you had with Dalinar, everything that you described it, like searching for truth, being very blunt, that also describes Yasna pretty much to a T.
Yeah, I was close to picking Yasna for that one too.
I have deep disagreements with some of those choices, and I'm not going to say them because I do not want this to go on.
I'm curious. I wanted you two to do it too.
Shallan should be laughter. That should be that. She's a main character and she says a lot of snide remarks. And Kaladin should be kindness because what he does comes from caring about others, not generosity. Generosity should be Sadius, obviously. And those are where I changed them all to.
All right. So that's that. So now looking forward to next week. So
Wait, Joe, wait. Who's Spike, Sheta? That's what really matters here.
Spike. I think Spike would be maybe Adolin.
What? Nonsense.
He's a little kid.
Okay.
He's a little kid who also is part of the group.
All right.
So looking forward to next week. We'll be reading, looks like 5 chapters 36 through 40. Yep. So 36 through 40. We have that.
Okay.
And in the meantime, everyone, continue what I told you last week. Try to watch some Academy Award nominated films. Maybe check out Sinners, because that got the most nominations, and it's on my list. I'm going to probably watch it this next week, but it looks good.
Yeah, I am pretty sick of hearing about it, so I may as well watch it as well.
Instead of that, I'm going to encourage you to go watch Uwe Ball's entire filmography.
Oh.
And then please let me know how you felt about it.
There are so many of those. I miss when he had like 4 movies and we could make fun of him. Now he has like 20.
20 too many. Actually, I'm a pretty big... Yeah, never mind.
No, you're not.
Yep. So everyone, do that. Chapters 36 through 40 next week. Until then, everyone, go out, have fun. Bye-bye.
Better.
Adios.